The $3,000 swim, a father's fight for justice. On a quiet Sunday morning in Willow Creek, a sleepy suburb nestled in Florida's rolling hills, I stepped onto my back porch with a steaming mug of coffee, expecting nothing but the usual chorus of birds and the gentle ripple of my backyard pond. Instead, I was met with a scene that made my blood run cold. Dozens of strangers swarming my property, setting up a full-scale swimming competition on the very water I dug with my own hands for my late daughter, Emma. By the end of that day, I'd charge every one of them $3,000 to step foot in my pond and uncover a web of corruption so violent would shake our community to its core. This is the story of how I fought back against a homeowners association tyrant and exposed a truth that still haunts me. My name is Daniel Harper, a 52-year-old former software engineer who left the corporate grind after losing Emma, my 9-year-old daughter, to leukemia 2 years ago. That pond wasn't just water to me, it was sacred. I'd spent months carving it out of the earth, teaching Emma to swim, watching her giggle as she spotted cloud shapes from her backstroke. After her death, I retreated to our isolated home on Cedar Lane, a place where neighbors mostly left me alone to grieve. I never locked my doors. Emma used to run in and out all day, and old habits die hard. That morning, I yanked open the kitchen curtains and froze. At least 30 people were in my yard: orange cones, timing equipment, folding chairs, and a registration table with cash boxes. Kids were already splashing in the pond, right where Emma had floated on her last good day. My heart pounded as I threw on a shirt and stormed outside. "Excuse me," I called, trying to keep my voice steady. "This is private property. There's been a mistake." The crowd turned, but instead of apologies, I got smirks and eye rolls. A woman in a sharp blazer stepped forward, her silver hair gleaming like she'd walked out of a boardroom. "Mr. Harper, I presume," she said, extending a manicured hand. "I'm Catherine Langley, president of the Willow Creek HOA. There's no mistake. Per our bylaws, this pond is shared recreational space. We're hosting our annual charity swim-a-thon for childhood cancer research." Her smile was cold, calculated, and it twisted the knife in my chest as kids splashed where Emma once laughed. "Ma'am," I said, my voice tight, "I built this pond myself. I have the permits, the surveys, everything. This is my land." Catherine's smile didn't waver. She pulled a document from a leather portfolio, stamped with official-looking seals. "You're confused," she said, her tone dripping with mock sympathy. "This contract shows the pond extends into the community recreation zone. Page 12, Section 4, Subsection C." She waved it close enough to see the seals but not to read. "We've got the local news coming. You wouldn't want to ruin a charity event, would you?" The crowd murmured, some parents glaring at me like I was the villain. Teenagers were filming, probably posting about the crazy widower ruining their fundraiser. But something about Catherine's confidence felt off, like a card trick gone wrong. "I need 10 minutes to check my contracts," I said firmly. She nodded, all graciousness, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of unease. Inside, I dug through my fireproof safe, pulling out the original property survey, pond permits, and landscaping plans. Comparing them to my memory of Catherine's document, I noticed discrepancies. The pond's shape was wrong, the measurements off, the boundaries shifted. This wasn't a mix-up. Catherine had falsified legal papers to steal my land, banking on my grief to keep me docile. She'd picked the wrong fight. I scanned her contract and ran a pixel-by-pixel comparison with my survey. The results were damning. Her document was photoshopped, its metadata showing it was created 2 days ago, not 3 years ago when the HOA was formed. I called my old friend Tom Reynolds, a real estate attorney. "Dan, this is a federal crime," he said. "If they're trespassing, you can charge usage fees. Think of it like a parking ticket for your yard. Make it steep and document everything." He explained adverse possession laws, urging me to act fast. Then I dug into Catherine Langley's past. County records revealed she'd been in property disputes with 12 families over 3 years, always using fake HOA documents and community pressure to bully them out. 3 of those families had lost children to cancer during their disputes, all living near contaminated groundwater sites Catherine never disclosed. The coincidence hit too close to home. Emma's leukemia had been unusually aggressive, baffling her doctors. "We'd been drinking well water, swimming in that pond for years." A text from an unknown number interrupted my research. "Mr. Harper, this is Jack Thompson, HOA board member. Catherine's destroying families with fake documents. I have proof. Meet me tonight at Daisy's Diner on Route 5. Bring your real papers." My pulse raced. If an HOA insider was risking this, Catherine's corruption ran deep. Tom called back, his voice shaking. Dan, those 3 families with cancer deaths? Their properties sit on contaminated groundwater Catherine knew about. She fought them while their kids were dying. The possibility that Emma's death wasn't random but tied to Catherine's cover-up turned my grief to fury. I printed invoices $3,000 per person for unauthorized property use, set up security cameras, and built a website hosting my evidence, surveys, Photoshop analysis, and a list of Catherine's victims. By dawn, Catherine was back with a larger crowd, 43 people, including kids, parents, and a Channel 5 news van. She strutted across my lawn with a megaphone, announcing the charity swimathon and painting me as the selfish loner obstructing it. I waited until they gathered by the pond, then stepped out with a banner, private property, $3,000 entry fee. No exceptions. Laughter turned to outrage, but the news crew perked up, sensing a bigger story. Ladies and gentlemen, I announced, holding up a QR code to my website. I'm Daniel Harper, and this is my land. Pay the fee or leave. Check my site for proof of Catherine Langley's fraudulent documents and her history of stealing from grieving families. Catherine's face paled, but she grabbed her megaphone. This man is mentally unstable, she shouted. He's extorting a charity event. But her voice cracked, and the crowd started checking my site. Then, 16-year-old Mia Alvarez, a neighbor, changed everything. She'd been live streaming the confrontation, drawing 50,000 viewers. Her followers dug up my volunteer work at Emma's cancer ward, exposing Catherine's lies. The crowd fractured, some left, others demanded answers about the groundwater. Jack Thompson arrived, carrying a box of documents. Catherine Langley, he declared, I resign from the HOA and release proof of your 3-year criminal enterprise. He dumped deeds, bank records, and buried environmental reports showing contaminated groundwater Catherine hid while buying tainted properties cheap. As Ruby's livestream hit 80,000 viewers, Tom called with a bombshell. Police had found human remains at Catherine's old property, laced with toxins matching those in the cancer deaths. My pond, they suspected, was dug where she'd planned to hide more evidence. I felt the ground shift. Emma had played above a potential mass grave. Catherine, desperate, slipped into my kitchen through my unlocked door, holding a glass vial. Daniel, she purred, setting it on the counter, this sedative will calm you. Admit your mistake, and we'll sort this out. But Mia had hidden a camera, live streaming to 100,000 people. Catherine, unaware, confessed, your daughter wasn't my first subject, nor my last. Her decline was perfect for my research. Every swim in that pond sped up her cellular breakdown. She smirked, scrolling through videos of Emma's suffering. Rage consumed me. Catherine raised the vial, threatening to taint my coffee pot with the same poison that killed Emma. But Tom stepped in, recording device in hand. Catherine Langley, you've just confessed to murder, fraud, and environmental terrorism, broadcast to 100,000 witnesses. Sirens wailed as FBI tactical teams swarmed my house, cuffing Catherine as she spat. You'll never get Emma back. Her smile was gone, her empire in ruins. Catherine's trial gripped the nation. Mia's footage secured 6 life sentences for the murders of Emma, for other children, and Catherine's husband, Judge Edward Langley, poisoned to hide her toxic waste scheme. She'd earned $12 million dumping medical waste, targeting families with kids to study toxin effects. The groundwater was laced with uranium isotopes, confirming Emma was poisoned, not cursed by bad luck. Mia's GoFundMe raised $500,000, transforming the pond into Emma's memorial pool, a free swim center for low-income kids. Jack, who'd lost his son to leukemia, became a local hero, his evidence unraveling decades of corruption. Tom's lawsuits won $200 million for 47 families, and the Langley Act mandated HOA transparency. Mia earned a journalism scholarship, and Catherine's daughter, Laura, donated her mother's blood money to fight environmental crimes. A year later, I stood by Emma's pool, watching kids laugh where she once swam. That night, I dreamed of her smiling, saying, Daddy, you kept them safe. Peace settled over me. Catherine stole Emma's life, but not her legacy. Love and truth had won. What would you do if corruption threatened your family? Have you faced injustice or violence in your community? Share your thoughts below. Take a stand. Tell us where you draw the line. Your voice could inspire the next fight for justice.